Hi, I'm Al from Big Al's at UCC. We want to bring to your attention today some Ford Pries. We have a lot of income and knowledge about them. We have a lot of people calling all the time on the Ford Pries. This is the first generation Ford Pries, and how we can tell that, it has an air inlet into the center, pumping air to run the converter hotter. And as we moved on in years, we have eliminated the air around the converter, and we started running, I shouldn't say we, but they started putting an O2 sensor there. And the reason why I want to talk to you a little bit about the Ford product and the Ford Pries is because this can range from $17 for a Pries, and there's two there, to anywhere from $164 to $364 on what we would call the X body. I don't know if you can zoom in on this, Cole. There's an X in the center of that. If you can see that. That's an identification mark by Ford. They also have on the edge, very hard to read, it's right on this edge here, they have the number for this actual converter for it there. In the industry, this shield is very tight on here, so when you see this converter, it doesn't look like much. You just know it's a Ford Pries by how its appearance. In essence, you would have to remove these shields to put an actual price to this product. When you're doing the assay basis product, it doesn't matter if it has an X or no X. These two can be combined and come up with an average, which is great. This converter is off of Ford. It actually has two of those in them. You can see how they're attached. And a lot of times what they do is they cut them off. And usually they cut them off for ease of taking them out of the car. And then they'll sell this as one piece, this is another, and this is another. The value for these can be in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and sometimes in excess of $600 we've seen on the new cars. Now I'm going to take you to the most recent with Ford products. This is also off of Ford. What they've done, you see an O2 sensor hole right there in the top. You can do a close-up of that if you like. Okay. Now, they've put another O2 sensor right here. And the reason why they do that is because 98 or 96% of the converter is going to be cleaned before it gets to this big body of a converter here. So most of the work, as far as turning this into clean air coming out, is being done in this little window between this O2 sensor and that O2 sensor. In order for them to do that, they have to take the loadings of this here and increase it to have a chemical reaction to changing to condensation, which most of us recognize it and see it as water coming out of the tailpipe. And if you ever wonder how that actually happens, it is actually the changeover from getting hot to cold to a converter so quick that it condensates inside the exhaust system, and we have water coming out of the tailpipe. So on this one here, this would have some value too. But that's the 3 generations of how we've moved along in the exhaust industry as far as getting the air clean coming out of your tailpipe. And the reason why I wanted to bring this to your attention is because a lot of the, I would say, yards, salvage yards, recycling yards, when they sell this, they're so accustomed to saying, hey, I've got a Ford Pries, $17, throw it in the truck. Oh, another Ford Pries, but not knowing that that X or marking on the newer ones has greater value. So it's no longer $17 or $18. The value could be in the hundreds of dollars. And the awareness is to start looking at these O2 sensors. I keep bringing that forward on my episodes because it is an important value. If you all have a couple of seconds, and maybe with some assistance from Alex, we could show you what I'm talking about. Now, the reason why I was talking a lot about O2 sensor and locations of O2 sensors, this is off a Subaru, and I don't know if we can get a close-up of this. The O2 sensor hole is right there. Okay? The other O2 sensor hole is right here. The biscuit for this converter is right here. It's only 3/4 of a pound, so it's not a very big biscuit, but this biscuit has to do the work of this entire engine. Okay? Now this is an older Subaru, so the value of this is a lot less. So we're going to bring you up a few years. This is a 2013. You're going to notice the location of the O2 sensors are starting to change. You have one right here, and you can see that one's right there. Here's the biscuit right here. It's a little bit bigger biscuit. It's going from here to here. But notice where they put the rear O2 sensor in relationship to the other one. The other one's right over here, the biscuit's over here. This one is coming right at the biscuit, okay? So you're seeing a big change there. There's a reason for it. They're trying to protect this biscuit, because there is great values in some of these converters. When I use the word great value, I'm not talking thousands of dollars as you see in some of these apps and stuff like that. I'm talking in the hundreds. And then we move on to a 2014. 2014, a little bit larger biscuit. It has got the hole for the O2 sensor right there. And then on the other side, they actually took the O2 sensor and pointed it right at the biscuit. So you can see that location of the O2 sensors are becoming more and more important for identification of the converters, the values actually. So when you're selling these converters, just be aware, and you can see how they start to change a little bit. Though this may fit a Subaru Forester, this may be on a Legacy or to that effect, but they both have the same exact engine. And that's one of the things to keep aware. And this is just an older version of this, and you can tell by the older versions they had the lesser of the shields, and the newer styles how to encapsulate the entire converter. Underneath the shield there is no more converters, it's only one spot, and this big hump over here is where they have a braided pipe, a flex pipe which we would call, and that's the extent. On some of these, and not all of them, you'll see they put numbers on, and that helps in the industry for identification sometimes. But not all the time do we see numbers, so, and I'm not having any luck finding the actual number on this one. So these two would have numbers, and I know this one doesn't have a number on it. But I have seen numbers located right on the edge of the flange, right over here on this side. I've seen numbers run right down on the flange, on the shield. And it could be a shield number, but it's one way to identify it as well. Well, that's all the information I have for you today. Upcoming in our next episode, I'd like to focus a little bit on the hybrids. We have a good selection of hybrids. We've done the Nissans, the Toyotas, the new Toyota versus the old Toyota. And it's kind of interesting how they design their systems, their exhaust systems, to affect how it operates. So look forward to seeing you on my next episode. Thank you.